starts, right? We have breaking news coming in for today from Chicago. We got to talk about it. And Bruce Levine is back at it again, and he is talking more about the Chicago Cubs adding on. It's getting serious out here, y'all. Let's talk about it. Welcome in, everybody. Just wanted to drop a quick breaking news episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Appreciate each and every last one of you that are tuned in and watching this. Remember, Chicago Cubs Central is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs adding on. That's right. Already, we understand that the assignment after dropping some games due to bullpen, guys just not being ready. The Chicago Cubs look outside of the organization to try to answer the question of who can come in and help us keep the lead when we are winning baseball games. And the Chicago Cubs will look to lefty Drew Pomerantz from the Seattle Mariners, who they are acquiring today. Again, like I said, it's one of those things where Drew is not necessarily a lights out pitcher. He was a part of the 2018 Boston Red Sox team that won the World Series. He has pitched for the Padres. He has also obviously pitched for the Seattle Mariners. He was there on a AAA deal. But like I said, he is a pitcher that is looking to reclaim his spot on a major league squad. He feels like he has something to prove, and he is going to try and come out and give his best. So really excited that the Chicago Cubs are adding him. He is another lefty to add to the bullpen room. And the Chicago Cubs needed that. We need pitchers. I love experienced guys, especially World Series experience type guys also. So I'm not mad about this signing at all. Like I said, we're just getting busy early, adding on potential relief arms. Like I said, they are adding on Pomerantz, who had upper mobility clause. Mariners needed to offer him to every other club. If a team was willing to bring him to the majors, they either had to promote him or trade him there. He also pitched for Craig Counsell in Milwaukee in 2019. So Craig is familiar with him also. So again, he has moved over from being a dominant reliever to then a pretty good starter to then a guy who looked toast and then a dominant reliever again. So I guess the question is, what version of Drew Pomerantz are the Chicago Cubs going to get? Like I said, I'm just excited to see somebody else in the bullpen, see what he could potentially offer up. But the question is, if this guy has such a checkered past and the Chicago Cubs have already taken chances and opportunities on guys that just did not pan out, why in the world would they go try this with Drew Pomerantz? And I would tell you that the reason why the Chicago Cubs are doing this is because he's a lefty who is currently healthy and has had a lot of past success. And the Chicago Cubs are looking to help recreate that with the Chicago Cubs this season. I expect him to come in, obviously, on a big league deal. He will be a part of the bullpen for the next two games against the Dodgers tomorrow and Wednesday. Like I said, and again, he's just somebody that adds bullpen depth, somebody to come in and offer up a more opportunity for the Chicago Cubs to win some ball games. And that's the most important part here. So we'll see what he could bring to the table. Again, like I said, his ERA in AAA, he's pitched 9.2 innings at AAA. He does have a 32.6% strikeout rate. Like I said, so we'll see. Like I said, his ERA isn't going to jump off the table to you, but at the same time, he also is a guy that can offer you a lot, and he has a lot of experience. So let's just see what he can bring to the table. I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table. Now, the next part of this that I wanted to talk to you guys about, Bruce Levine hopped on 670 The Score today, like literally 2 hours or so, before this news dropped, and he dropped a bomb of his own. With the 14-10 Cubs leading the NL Central right now, they are already browsing the trade market looking for more pitching help. That's right. The Chicago Cubs are looking for more pitching help. And again, it's one of those things where um, the Cubs are looking all over. Obviously, I've already talked about in the episode last week on the Daily. Sandy Alcantara, who is making 17.3 million in 2025 and is under contract control through 27, is an obvious candidate. Like I said, he won the 2022 National League Cy Young Award. He did miss the entire 2024 season, recovering from Tommy John. And then this season, he has an ERA of 7.27 and 4 starts after the Phillies recently roughed him up. But like I said, he's flashed the stuff that helped him post the 8.0 WAR in 2022, which has fueled his career to a 3.39 ERA. So again, he's a name that people will continue to list as a potential trade partner for the Chicago Cubs. He'd have to trade with those Miami Marlins. I don't necessarily know if you want to do that, especially with the way Matt Mervis is already clanging and banging down there. But then he dropped this part too. In order for the Chicago Cubs to add any type of starting or serious pitching, they're probably going to have to part ways with Owen Casey and others. So, like I said, it's not just going to be Owen Casey. It's like it's going to be Owen Casey and others. So, I mean, I don't know. The price for Alcantara is going to be steep. Do you believe that it's worth trading Owen Casey for if you want to get Sandy Alcantara? Another one to look at, obviously, is the Twins right-hander Pablo Lopez. Also, you got to look at the Cardinals right-hander Sonny Gray and the Cardinals right-hander Eric Fried. Those are all the pitchers right now that Bruce Levine mentioned. I sincerely hope the Chicago Cubs don't do a trade with the Cardinals. I'd rather them not, but we'll see what happens. Lopez is 29, and he is making 21.75 million in 25, and is owed the same salary in 26 and 27. But the Twins are off to a rough start. So, like I said, again, we'll see what happens with that. We'll have to look at that. Gray is 35 and will be making 25 million this season and will make 35 million in 2026 on a contract that also holds a 30 million team option for 2027. He had a 3.84 ERA in 2024 and posted a 3.41 ERA and a 0.86 WHIP in 29 innings across 5 starts this season so far. Then you look at the 32-year-old Fried, who will be a free agent after this season. He has a 3.43 ERA in 2025 after posting a 3.30 ERA in 2024. Helping the Cubs usually isn't on the Cardinals' radar, but they're set to undergo a transition in the front office soon. So we'll just see what happens with that. Yeah, but again, like I said, we will just have to see. The most dominant young closer in the game right now, the Cubs also could be looking at, is Athletics right-hander Mason Miller, who has struck out 13.3 batters per 9 innings in his MLB career. And he's now only in his 3rd season. So the Athletics would demand a boatload of talent for a trade of Miller. But we'll just have to see what happens, man. We will have to see what happens. For right now, the Chicago Cubs are just window shopping. We don't necessarily know who they're going to get, but we do know more trades are coming like this. So tell me, guys, out of those people that I've listed, who would you want to see the Chicago Cubs go after? Who do you want to see to make the trade? And who on the Chicago Cubs is off limits for that trade? So let me know in the comments, guys. Bruce always coming through with good news for Chicago Cubs fans. Once again, appreciate each and every last one of you. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on a potential trade for starting pitching and what that means for Owen Casey and his tenure with the Iowa Cubs and the Chicago Cubs. Appreciate you all. Until next time, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. You can leave me a voicemail at 217-816-5498, or you can write me an email at cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, peace and go Cubs go.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.